Hey, so here is the very first story trailer we got, which includes Buggy, it includes Don Krieg, and it includes Arlong. And basically what I'm going to be doing is pausing at certain points in the video and pointing things out that maybe you wouldn't see straight away, since, you know, you're watching this fast-paced trailer, you know. Okay, so let's start. Here we have the Bandai Namco logo. Oh. Then we have the Omega Force logo, etc. And now we get time skip Luffy picking back his hat up with the Vivre card, saying, let's go, let's do this. So here we go, we're introduced straight away to the cast. And this is kind of the first trailer where we really saw gameplay, you know, in action. And we have the crew and the Sunny, and now we get straight into it. Here is a cutscene, which is basically, you know, in the manga, in the anime, this is the part where Nami locks Luffy up. Or Nami basically gives Luffy to Buggy. So let's pause here for a sec. So already here, we've gotten story, which we didn't really expect, because it is a Musou game, and Musou games traditionally are fighting, bosses, and that's it. That's pretty much, you know, a Dynasty Warriors game, and there have been many Dynasty Warrior games. There's also been let's see, about 3 or 4 Gundam games, crossovers, and then we've had Fist of the North Star as well. And this seems to be a bit different, because it seems to, you know, instead of focusing just on the fighting, it seems to capture the whole atmos of One Piece. It seems to capture everything. It seems to, you know, the voice acting, obviously the voice acting is the guys from the show that do the TV show, and the sound effects seem to be spot on. Like, every part of this game seems to be stellar, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the biggest Musou game that has been made. Like, I think this is where it's at with, I mean, Fist of the North Star is obviously huge, but One Piece at the moment, like, the books in particular have been breaking records with every volume release. Like, it's crazy how popular One Piece is. So, let's continue. So here we have Luffy fighting in what I presume is the place where Buggy is, like, before they fight him. So I presume this is something to do with, I think Shushu might be mentioned, but for trailer's purposes, I presume they're just, you know, highlighting the main parts. And this is obviously the fight with Buggy, which happened obviously different than this, but it did end in the town square, and he did use the bazooka. Right, now we're on to Barati. So, already here, let me pause for a sec. You can see there is a real-time, time-based minigame in which you are flying around the Barati. What looks to be, obviously, the bit before Don Krieg. Let's play again. Yeah, here you go. See, these are the ruins, which I presume are made after Don Krieg appears and says, hey, you know, I'm Don Krieg. And here is obviously the fight between Mihawk and Zoro, which happens straight afterwards, if not before. And then straight after this, we skip into Arlong. So already, you know, we've covered some ground here. We've skipped Kuro, and we've skipped a few others, but I think the main story of One Piece, like the main parts, are highlighted quite well. Like, obviously we have different characters. We have Luffy, Sanji, Usopp, Zoro, all playable in their own scenarios. And obviously here we have the classic fight between Luffy and Arlong, which seems to end just exactly as it did in the anime, which is brilliant. Like, the fights seem to transition into these contextual cutscenes, which really, you know, they're perfect. They are One Piece. That is, you know, these contextual cutscenes seem to just highlight the manga style, if anything, more than the anime style, because of the lines and the expressions, and you could see the emotion parts, like. And obviously there we have the scene straight after Luffy destroys Arlong Park, where he basically says to Nami, "You are my shipmate." So there we go, that was the first trailer. I will now obviously move straight into the second one. At the end, I'll probably put the picture back up, but basically that shot at the end was basically explaining that there are bonuses when you pre-order. The first one was a PSN theme, which is basically like, you know, Luffy in his stance or whatever, theme for the PSM, for PS3 obviously. And the second part was an advertisement for something to do with the Grand Collection, which is basically an online social game, which have been popping up, you know, anime ones recently, where basically you would get cards and, I don't know, fight them against each other, whichever has higher stats. I don't know. But yeah, there's that. For pre-ordering, obviously, there's obviously the already announced PS3, which I have to say is way too expensive for my price range, but you might want to get one. It's just plastic. I mean, it's obviously, you know, it's I don't know, it doesn't mean much to me, but hey, there we go. So there you have it, there's that. Now let's move straight into the second trailer, which I do believe I have up here somewhere. So here we go, Bandai Namco, blah blah blah. Koei Tecmo. And this trailer is solely focused on Water 7. So here we have the burial for the Mary. We have a random part from the Barity, and then obviously this is basically Luffy reminiscing like he did the manga. All his crew members up until now, Vivi, Alabasta, which hasn't been shown actually as of yet. Like we've seen a few screenshots, but here, this is interesting right here. Let me pause this before we listen to Bluno talk. Like, it seems that there will be story elements flipped like manga pages, which is, I have to say, that's a brilliant way to do it. Like, you know, it comes down a page of manga, and it's like an interactive comic, and then suddenly it pops out, and there you go, there's a cutscene that highlights the part, you know. So it's not going into every little detail, but it's picking up on the main parts and adapting it brilliantly. Like this just seems to really, they seem to really be taking care with what they're doing here. They don't seem to, you know, be just chopping bits up into crude sections, which is what I have to say Dragon Ball games do an awful lot of. Like they seem to just chop bits up, and you seem to get little to no context other than a textual explanation, which isn't good enough in a game that is based upon, you know, constant visuals. I don't like it. But that's just me. Let's continue here. So we've got Bluno, and then we have the entrance to Ineos Lobby, which is actually kind of funny, because when I was reading the scenes in the manga where Luffy was bursting through, I'd say I thought this would make a great game. It would make a perfect game. So obviously we have the scene here where Nika Robin is saying, "I want to live." Zoro's kicking some ass, Sanji's kicking some ass. It's all looking good. It's all looking good. And here we go. Here's Nami, which previously I don't think we've seen any footage of. And straight after that we have Chopper, Monster Chopper, surprisingly. Sniper King, which I have to say, that's a brilliant addition. And then we have Frankie, which seems to have a really good moveset, including Coupe de Pou, I think it's being called. And we have Nika Robin there, which we haven't seen before. And some sort of, let me pause it here, and I might go back in the video, but basically, there is a tag move in this game, which is, according to my friend who's, you know, an expert on Musou games, hasn't seen that before. Like, it's always been, you know, you pick one character, and then you have him for the duration. There's no other choice. If we look at the bottom of the screen, like, there's some indicator markers that normally are in every Musou game. there's the blue guy and the red guy. And the blue guy basically means, you. There's one of you. And then, I think it indicates the strength. The sheer strength of who you're facing. And, yeah. Well, I don't know much about that, but let's continue. Again, we seem to have a... There we go. There's that famous moment, the Gear 3rd moment. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It seems to just bring life to the manga. And it seems to look a lot more like the manga than it does the anime, which is good, I guess. I mean... And here we go. We got different CP9 members. We haven't just got Lucci, we got Giabura, and we have the fight between Luffy and Usopp here. Which is brilliant. Now we jump back to Lucci fight, and this is Gear 2. So there you go. That's 2 trailers of jam-packed full of information. That it's really exciting. So I think that'll do us for now, and stay tuned for the very first Straw Hat Log chapter. This being a quick video I made because I watched these trailers and I'm not gonna lie, I'm so pumped for this game. So yeah, stay tuned.